Now let's enjoy this video of Kamala Harris trying to explain cloud computing.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? It's no longer in a physical place. So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore...
The left worships incompetence. Guys, there's so much in the world that I could be talking about right now. I really considered heavily what topic this video should specifically be about, because you see so much going on in the world. You see the communist dictator in Venezuela dispersing peaceful crowds using what seems like squads of stormtroopers. The left is completely silent. You see multiple men in boxing and other Olympic sports beating women and getting gold medals for it. I don't know about you guys, but I was raised that if you punch a woman, you're going to go to jail. Now we give them gold medals on an international platform. And so I thought to myself, what is the common theme here? Obviously, I know what the common theme is in terms of the antagonistic relationship leftists have with reality due to Marxist resentment. But then I saw this, and this video is so striking because of its eeriness. And that is a bunch of women inhabiting the female psyche, showing how they can be controlled in a totalitarian type aspect. And I realized that the minds of these leftists are not their own. They don't control their own cognitive faculties because their cognitive faculties are long gone. If you're watching this video, you likely, maybe, have some form of ability to process information cogently, meaning you have some sort of relationship with objective reality because you can use logic, reason, rationality. But there are a lot of people who've sold their soul. And when I say sold their soul, we're not talking necessarily just spiritually. We mean they have given up their identity for a group membership status, which grants them counterfeit virtue to call themselves good people. And that's exactly what these women have done. Look at these women. Well, I don't even need to say it. Just watch.
And she likes me. She even put me. And she likes me. She even put me in her movies.
I was just gonna say.
She put me in her movies, right? A long time ago. And how much did I charge? Nothing.
Like they say in the
It was a freebie. Tommy, I love you. I'm telling you.
And they're trying to humanize them and change your idea about who this guy is. Don't fall for that.
Look at what the radical left can do when they control women's psyches. It's like they're not even connected to reality. And we're talking about specifically women here because proclivity to a Biden left-wing authoritarianism has been measured to positively correlate with the feminine temperament, and that's a psychological fact. This is the reason why women are more likely to say, oh, why do we need guns? We can just get rid of people's guns. They're more likely to trade freedom for security. But if you look at this, there's no shame they have because there's no individual identity that they have either. Shame comes from an individual identity, the necessity to take responsibility for the world. These women don't feel as though they have to take responsibility for the world because their ideology tells them you're a good person as a result of repeating the party lines. You just have to say who's a bad person. I mean, look at this. Look at the difference. You see? That's a big difference. Look, they're all laughing, smiling, sitting with the alpha masculine billionaire, happy and content, as most women are. No, I'll just say as all women are when they're not contaminated or polluted with ideology. But you realize their minds aren't their own. They're controlled. And the deed, as far as I can tell, there might be a higher resolution format of this perception, but it seems like the deed on their mind, the ownership of their mind, is marked by the fear of the individual. Fear because they don't want to be demonized and called a bad person, because they couldn't defend themselves at that point. And it would require enormous amounts of fortitude stemming from an individual identity. So it really is a deal with the devil if you think about it, because you give up your individual identity, therefore giving up your ability to fight back, to ever go against them. So once you give up that individual identity, it's so hard to go against them ever. And so they sort of have you locked in. And this is why a lot of women find themselves locked in situations like this. So that's why we see most of the people, and when I say most, I understand there's a very small number of people that are actually celebrating these athletes beating up women. But all the people that are women, because their minds have had the exact same process I've just described up here. To go against left-wing ideology would be such a monumental task that they're not equipped for, because they've demonized objective parameters like reason, logic, and rationality in accordance with the postmodernist philosophy set of saying there's no such thing as better and worse, right and wrong, true and false. And so you get them saying things that are the opposite of the truth. And as November's approaching, I see leftists more and more often saying the opposite of the truth. I tweet about this all the time on X. Be sure to follow me there, because I highlight leftists that say the opposite of the truth, because that's when their ideologically induced psychopathology is revealed for all to see. That's when everyone can see these people are not good people. The only correction for this, another way of saying that is, the only way out is accountability. These people are openly worshiping at the altar of anti-truth. This is what people mean when they say leftists are satanic. Perfect example. There's a hashtag right now of leftists saying, hashtag Trump is a coward. This comes less than a month of Trump standing up after being shot in the face and fist pumping without knowing if there was a second shooter. When most people would be cowering on the ground behind the Secret Service agents or ducking, he stood up. But they have a hashtag Trump is a coward. Why is that hashtag even existing, you might ask? Because they're trying to say he's dodging a presidential debate. Meanwhile, it's Kamala who's dodging a presidential debate because Trump says he'd debate her on the 4th of September on Fox News. It is Kamala who's trying to back out. But see, they say the opposite of the truth. They accuse you of what they're guilty of. But their resentment for truth is now so purified, they do this at almost every single turn. And so we've never had a situation like this where it's pure good versus pure evil. The left is pure evil, definitionally, because they resent reality and worship at the altar of anti-truth. Postmodernism is definitionally evil because it says there's no such thing as right and wrong. Marxism is definitionally evil because it resents all things objective, coherent, and emergently true about humanity. And so what you see playing out is exactly what Freud would have predicted. The embodiments of the two ideologies, an incompetent woman who can't speak, who cackles like a hyena, while embodying nothing but identity politics and identity-based victimhood hierarchies, while she goes from rally to rally pretending to be in a different oppressed group to garner virtue, or when she has Meg Thee Stallion performing explicit songs to drum up support for her. They don't have a single policy. They can't debate a single idea. All of their mission statements actually align around enacting the opposite of morality or the opposite of the truth. Look, here's a video of black women twerking to increase support for communists. So after stating clearly at a recent rally that within 100 days she would sign a required gun forfeiture where people have to turn in their firearms, straight up just communist policy and total violation of the Second Amendment. The Constitution isn't important to these people. They tweet, across this nation we are witnessing a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms. This is while they're promising to, within 100 days, confiscate all firearms. Good luck with that, by the way. And after they tried to put their opposition in jail and then assassinate him. Quickly, guys, we need to put Trump in jail to save democracy. Extremists attack the freedom to vote when they're importing illegal immigrants, and in states like California, the state that I'm living in, allow them to vote, allow people to vote without any form of identification, any form of ID. And if you don't believe me, look that up. You do not need any ID or any form of verification to vote in California, but you need some form of verification to get a library card in California. Freedom to live safe from gun violence. This is straight out of 1984, and the person that is birthing this is a feminine psyche, is a deranged female with a broken mind from Marxism. The embodiments of the ideologies or doctrines are clear. Incompetent, broken female woman, at war with reality, objectivism, says the opposite of the truth, an alpha masculine, competent billionaire, who at 25 was building skyscrapers, and Kamala Harris at 25 was on her knees doing. But every single statement in this tweet is not just a lie, it's the opposite of the truth. They're attacking democracy. They're the ones who are doing damage to freedom, as they openly admit to, and cheer for as they try to put Trump in jail. So the people that have fought actually for freedom are the opposite of these humans. So you see the psychopathology taking credit for that. Extremists attack the freedom to vote. They are extremists who are literally attacking people's ability to vote by definition by allowing illegal immigrants to vote, which is completely illegal. It's not allowed. And yet in California and many other states, I think it's 12 other states, allow that currently. Our freedom to live safe from gun violence. That might be the most pathological statement I've heard from Kamala Harris, actually. You don't have freedom to take away people's rights, definitionally speaking. And that statement is inverted. In America, you have a right to bear arms. It's the Second Amendment. There is no freedom that contradicts freedom. But when you're a leftist, there is. So we are doing battle with, obviously, evil, broken people. And most of the world has recognized this. But I'm doing more than documenting it. I'm explaining why it's happening. The degenerate female psyche has been hijacked, has done a deal with the devil to align with and embody anti-truth, which is synonymous with Satan. Be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to continue to cover this anti-reality pathogen as the election approaches.